10 seconds to go, guys. Are we ready?
I'm sleepy.
Welcome. Mic's up. Good morning. Good morning. It's time to go into the locker room with Tega. This is part of Smooth Breakfast with Valentine.
And Ayo. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you feeling today, Tega?
Sleepy.
Oh, lovely. All right. Okay. Let's just go straight into the stories. Maybe it will
What
wake
else
you
is
up.
new?
All right. So we have our numbers for you to send your messages to if you'd like to be a part of the conversation. And just to let you know, so you can quickly log on. We're live or streaming live on YouTube. That's youtube.com/smooth91fm. Just search, you'll find it and you see that we're live. You can also send your comments through that platform as well. And then, of course, on Twitter, and we are on WhatsApp.
That's right. Lagos WhatsApp number there is 0809-444-0981. Please add your names to your messages so we can take them as soon as they land. That's WhatsApp number again, 0809-444-0981.
And on Twitter, you mentioned the hashtag Locker Room 91.
Yes, hashtag Locker Room 91 at Smooth91FM.
All right, let's see if we can wake up Tega with this first news story in the basketball world. Magic abruptly steps down as Lakers president. In a bombshell that sent shockwaves throughout the Los Angeles Lakers organization and the NBA as a whole, a teary-eyed Magic Johnson announced yesterday night that he's stepping down as the team's president of basketball operations after just 2 years in the role. Now, this is what he said. "It's a difficult decision. I cried before I came here." He said this while he choked back tears, making the announcements before the Lakers' regular season finale against Portland, a 104-101 loss, obviously. "I am about to cry now. It's hard when you love an organization the way I love this organization. It's hard when you love a person like I love Junie, but I don't want to disappoint her." But Johnson also made it clear that the decision leaves him in a happier state. "I want to go back to having fun," he said. "I want to go back to being who I was before taking on this job."
Well, it's not easy for I agree totally for Magic Johnson. I'm not calling his first name. Magic Johnson is what we know him as, so stick with it. But what it is in the 2 years he's been there, he's been looking for drastic changes to try and get Lakers back to where the glory days that they used to have. And what was sad about him not being able to achieve that was that he had the name, he had the clout. I mean, we're talking Magic Johnson here, but there was a little bit of politicking, behind the scenes. So first of all, he wanted Luke Walton to go, and not because he hates Luke Walton, but he just thinks that Luke Walton is not fit for purpose. He's not big enough for the job he wants to carry. And so he's saying if the Lakers are going to go back to their glory days, if the Lakers are going to go back into contention, if anybody's going to look at the Lakers and say, "Oh, these guys have a chance of getting the NBA title," it cannot be Luke Walton that's leading them. And so it's not like he hated him, but he just thought he was not experienced enough. But there were other people like Jenny Boss, who's a fantastic woman and a very powerful woman, owns controlling shares of Lakers, that wanted Luke Walton there. So she wanted to build from ground up. He wanted some players to come in and some players to go, but there were other powers that did not want those players traded. So a lot of things he wanted to do to drastically change Lakers and then bring them back into contention. They're like, that's not the Lakers way. Bottom line, the guy just, after he had like a 3-hour meeting with Ginny Boss the day before. And I think after that meeting, when he realized that, look, it was like hitting his head against a brick wall, the next day, he hadn't even spoken with her about it. He didn't resign after the meeting. He didn't tell her he was resigning. He waited till the next day when he had, before she even came into the office or came for the game against Portland Trailblazers, and then he announced it. He was like,
so
he must have.
He's no longer
He must have thought about. So he must have thought about it. He must have thought about it hard after the 3-hour meeting. He said he went for another meeting with a bunch of Lakers guys, and they kept saying next season we will. Next season he was just like, I'm not going to be here with you all next season. You're on your own.
Mm.
And then he came out of that meeting and resigned. And then told the reporters he's resigned. So it's a I think he was frustrated out of the role. It's not like anybody pushed him out of it or anybody wanted to see him go. But he couldn't. That's Magic Johnson. He's the kind of guy that would like to sit down and make things happen. And if he can't make it happen, then there's no point in him being there. He wants that change to come, and if he doesn't see that change, he can't stay there. And that's why he left. He'd rather be happy than frustrated. Bottom line.
Let's talk about Nigeria and Canada. Super Falcons as they've lost their match now after scoring first. Now, Janine Becky and substitute Sophie Schmidt scored early in the second half to lift Canada to a 2-1 win over Nigeria in a women's soccer friendly yesterday. Now, Desire Akbar-Nozier had given Nigeria a first half lead in the World Cup warm-up at Pinatar Arena. It was the first goal Canada had conceded in 2019 after 5 clean sheets. Canada changed their style of play in the second half, and it took them only 3 minutes to level up through Becky Janine. And 5 minutes later, Canada scored their second goal via a superb header by Schmidt as Nigeria's goalie Olohi failed to make a save.
Yes. So Nigeria started off that game. You have to remember again, Canada had been undefeated. 5 games into this, they came into this with 5 clean sheets in 5 games. They'd been undefeated. They'd just beaten England, who has everything, everything going for them right now. They're playing, their players are good. Their women's football league is thriving. And so you're talking of an English team that, again, and then the English team beat Spain yesterday. Let me not forget that. And so you're talking of an English team that has momentum, that has everything, and Canada beat that team. And so they're coming to play against the Nigerian side that is ranked, I think, world number 38 or somewhere really down there. And Nigeria set it on fire. Look, Okpara-Nozie's goal was fantastic, but that was not the most memorable thing about her game. It was when she took out that defender in her life. When she sees Okpara-Nozie, she will, no, I cannot live like this.
Is there anybody that looks like her?
Or anybody that looks like her. This cannot happen to me twice. No, when it's not Lionel Messi. But Okpara-Nozie had a great game. And Nigeria also starting the game, it was fantastic. But the Canadian coach, again, that's where you look at the tactical mindset of coaches, because the coach looked at the game and said, okay, we're not very balanced right now, made a few changes. They came back second half, boom, boom, 2 goals, and they're leading. And I think that's what I fear for Nigeria. There's no, what's your plan B? We don't even have a plan A. We literally play, we react to the way the opponent sets up. And that's our plan A, B, C, and D. Other countries have different ways to set up. So I'm hopeful for the Super Falcons because I like the talent that they have, and I like the balance that Thomas Nabi is displaying so far. He didn't have assistant Oshoala, but the team was still good enough. My idea with the team is that they don't have any tactical way to change their game. So if they're struggling in one way,
that's just wrong.
I don't like the way you are doing this. Why are you watching the video again?
So the defender just she did a split.
Yeah, she said she told the defender to come. Then she sent the defender on an errand, and then went the other way to score the goal.
That's actually what it's called. When we were in secondary school, if somebody tackles you like that, send me a message.
He said, yeah. So it was so that's my fear for the Super Falcons, that they do not have any tactical plan B in case things are not going right for them. But the good news is that they have more games to work it out. They have a game on Saturday, so let's see how that pans out.
All right, let's see how that pans out. Let's take a few comments here, and before we go on a break.
All right, we have this one from Tony from Magodo. It says, "Good morning, Ayo, Tega, and Val. Magic Johnson's resignation just shows great players and not necessarily great team executives. He did not do a lot wrong personally, but in general, a lot went wrong for the Lakers this season. From injuries, the Anthony Davis trade fiasco, and generally poor play. Let's hope that this is the start of a positive turnaround for the organization. He will always be in the top 3 greatest Lakers of all time."
Yes, indeed. Now, very quickly, FIFA's Women's World Cup trophy arrives Nigeria on tour. Exciting news right there, Tega.
Yes, it comes in today. well, let me just put this. As at last week, we didn't know. They had other teams. The first one is going to trophy tour is going to all the countries that are involved in it. So they checked South Africa. They saw what they're going to do. They checked Cameroon. They saw what they're going to do. Nigeria blank. Wow. We didn't have any idea what we were going to do, but now we come up with some solution.
What's the solution?
The trophy will go to the minister. They will do that song and dance of political. Then Osasa is like the ambassador. So Osasa is the ambassador for the women's trophy. Let's not even look. Let's just take what we have. At least now we have a plan.
All right.
We didn't have a plan before. But the bottom line is the show is coming to Nigeria. If you want to see the women's World Cup trophy, just the same way you saw the men's World Cup trophy, take a picture around it. Then you can go.
Of course, our ambassadors as in. Right, Lagos. We'll be right back. This is still the locker room here on Smooth Breakfast. Is it a mistake?
Please leave us alone. You're not even the one that picked yourself. At least FIFA helped us. We had no plan.
No, but why didn't they pick a woman though? Isn't it the women's football? Or it doesn't matter?
I don't like the way you are discriminatory.
Me?
Because
who is discriminatory between me and the government?
because it's women's football, must it be woman.
So when they bring the World Cup, when they bring the men's World Cup, is it Asisa that carries it? Is Asisa their ambassador?
Just leave us.
Okay, so Tega, just for the sake of argument, what were the criteria? Why did they choose him?
Say it in non-native language.
It's baffling.
Tega, you have to come close because we can't see your face on YouTube.
We can't see your face though. Tega, you're the reason why they're watching, not us. They've seen us on Freshly Pressed 981. They see us on.
I just had a woman to overtake and go for a tour.
See? Imagine that. I am confused. Tega, please, you must explain the explanation whether you want to use in Calabar or Efik or anyhow.
I do not know.
I don't get it.
I didn't know.
I like this advert.
Even I. Like I think explanation.
Very nice.
You're welcome to join the Samsung Galaxy A series family, where you'll find the ideal smartphone.
The fact that they use that
yeah, because you know you're like the Nigerian government.
Oh.
When you give people because you're a man, Abi, you want to go ahead and do it.
Why?
I think maybe they wanted to look for a popular face to carry.
Is a popular. She's a champion.
I said she couldn't. Look, let me explain something to you.
You know who would have been better?
Let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
They are in Spain.
Okay, let me explain.
Wait, they are the women's team are in Spain, playing for the national team, and assistant is not with them.
Okay. Why? But you know, even if they use Aisha Falode, you know, the women in sport, why are you not in Abuja? Why?
She didn't play.
But what I'm saying is that you're saying is about popular face, right? And there's no woman to use.
Yeah, no.
I'd rather choose an Aisha over
Aisha Falode is not even popular. She's popular on TV in Nigeria, yes, but she has to have played in a World Cup. You can't even touch a World Cup if you have not won it. You don't know.
Oh,
that there are rules. Yeah. You're not supposed to touch it.
So they won't touch it. So this one they're bringing here, we won't touch it.
You take a picture with it in a glass box. Yeah, to touch it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's why when Rihanna held it, it was blasphemy. But the girl was like,
guys, we're going back in 20 seconds.
Rihanna, touch it.
And she touched it. Anyway, she's not okay.
Yeah, and the person that gave it to her was also not okay after that. The player.
Okay, guys, we're back in 18 seconds. Valentine, are we here? Tega, are we here?
Yes,
we are all
here.
Mics are going up. Studio is live.
Glad to know you're still there. You're listening to The Locker Room. It's a part of Smooth Breakfast with Ayo
and Valentine.
Tega Supreme, Lagos. Send in your messages on WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. Tega, that team is not ready, and Deneby should just try to get his tactics right. It's coming from Sheriff Oluwaleke Akinbi to use that. All right, more messages. Ibrahim here says, isn't Dirk's retirement bigger news than Magic's resignation? At least Dirk too cried now.
In what planet is Magic Dirk Nowitzki bigger than Magic Johnson? Sorry, what reality is Dirk Nowitzki bigger news than Magic
Please,
Johnson?
who's Dirk
Alphabetical
Nowitzki?
He won. Okay, he's a fantastic basketballer. He won the NBA championship in I think 2011
Yes.
Oh, all right.
with. What's all right? Do you know how many times Magic Johnson? Do you,
I'm saying all right to acknowledge that.
Oh.
with the Dallas Mavericks, and he's retiring right now. So
But Magic is bigger than
I'm
Dirk.
trying to ask Ibrahim,
No,
what
no.
reality
Let me tell you the reality.
Magic
If
Johnson?
they're going to call a roll call like there's a roaster, his name will appear first.
Whose name?
Dirk.
They will appear where?
Magic Dirk.
No.
Magic
Appear where?
Johnson.
Look, if we're talking about sports,
Alphabetical
Dirk
order.
Nowitzki's name will not appear on the same sheet
Sorry.
No, but then
with
Nowitzki.
Magic Johnson. If we are talking basketball, Dirk Nowitzki's name will not appear on the same sheet.
Okay, well, ask you.
Sorry.
They're not even the same WhatsApp group.
Okay,
Look, there is.
Sorry.
Whoa, you
Tega.
should hold me up before I vex.
All right, whilst you're still vexing, because I want you to answer this question with vex. Hi guys, I just heard that, and this is from Twitter from Akiade Soji. I just heard that the Women's World Cup trophy will arrive in Nigeria for a tour, and FIFA picked, wait for it, Osaze Odemwigwe as
Wow.
the Nigerian tour ambassador. I'm confused. Tega Supreme, please explain.
For Women's World Cup
Yes.
trophy.
Ma'am,
Okay.
I don't know what you want me to say.
This is a Women's World, right? Is that how the song goes?
It is.
Or Women's World, actually. Now, Manchester City remains favourites to progress in the Champions League despite suffering a narrow quarter-final first leg defeat, says Tottenham Hotspur manager Mauricio Pochettino. Now, Pep Guardiola's City went down 1-0 in the All-Premier League type tie at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. According to Pochettino, in an interview, he stated, "There's still a lot of work to do. It will be a completely different game in 1 week. I'm happy with the performance and I'm happy with the way we approached the game," he added. "The performance was very good," he continues, "and that's the challenge for the future, to show that level and be consistent. To win the first leg gives us the belief that we'll go there and fight."
Okay, so here is what I'm going to say about the game yesterday. Tottenham, benefited from their plan. Well, I don't want to say it's well executed plan because I'm not even sure it was a plan. But Pep Guardiola lost based on his PTSD. And I will say this, he came into a game remembering that last season against the Liverpool side, he was 3-0 down halfway through the first half. So he did not want to approach this game with the same open-mindedness and running at Liverpool the same way he did last season. So he came in with shackles on. Look, I would say this, Barry, I mean, yes, Manchester City is chasing the quadruple. So they're fighting for 4 different trophies, and that way you're talking about players that may be fatigued and there'll be wear and tear and all of that. But he came into this game with Fabian Delph and Otamendi in the back. How you're going to win a game with those 2 guys? You could have taken one, substitute one for the other, but he came in with 2 of them, both of them in the back. Then in the midfield with Gundogan and Fernandinho in the midfield, but it was more a defensive-minded setup. And then he brought in an Aguero that's just recovering from injury and David Silva that hasn't seen a lot of playing time. So you look at that game and you say, and even the way they approach the game, they're a little more hesitant, trying to get Tottenham on the counter. There was a time that they had a lot of possession, but it was largely because Tottenham was afraid much more than it was their plan to do it. So you could feel that they were playing with a little bit of restraint, let's not go out, let's not go all out. Second half, they tried to go all out, but they didn't do much. So for me, if you ask, Tottenham really won that game because of the fear of Pep Guardiola, 1, in his team selection, and 2, the clinical finishes that Tottenham had with their 1 chance that Manchester City did not have with their 2 chances.
All right.
So you look at that game and you say, okay, Pep Guardiola, you had to bring on Kevin De Bruyne and Leroy Sané. You were 1 goal down halfway through the second half. Why didn't you bring them on earlier? Why did you wait till 2 minutes to the end of regulation time?
And we were watching and we're like, why is he doing this now?
So it was there's a lot going on with Pep Guardiola, and which is why I say it is PTSD. And he got that wrong. So, but I still think that yes, they have the upper hand. It's just 1 goal, and they can go back to Etihad Stadium and finish the job. But they've put themselves in a tricky situation. That's all.
Somebody's asking on YouTube, Bright Tricks. He says, "Good morning, guys. guys. Please, what's the scores for yesterday's Champions League matches? Well,
1-0 Manchester City, Tottenham. 2-0 Liverpool, Porto.
Liverpool, Bayern 3-1. Barcelona, Lyon 5-1.
No. What are you talking about?
That's for the next one.
No, that's it. There's no match.
Let's
That's
keep
all.
going. Because
Just leave it
This is
to
the
me.
quarterfinal leg.
Okay.
Good. All right.
Let's focus.
So Christian says, "Bring it on" to Lionel Messi challenge. So Manchester United defender Chris Smalling says, "Bring it on" when asked about the prospect of facing Barcelona's Lionel Messi. He says, "It's something to relish, I think. This season we have been lucky enough to face Ronaldo, Kylian Mbappe, and they're all challenges that I definitely relish, and I think players at this club relish." So my brother is saying that they cannot wait to go to.
Yeah, that's he's looking at Messi like your tricks. Bring your magic wand.
Free kick.
In
I
fact,
cannot
look,
see.
bring everything you have. I am ready for you. This is Chris Smalling, clumsy Chris Smalling. The world has finished. But you know what? It's true. He's faced Kylian Mbappe, one of the most deadly strikers, I would say, in Europe at this time. Yes, he's a young guy, and yes, sometimes experience will count, but Kylian Mbappe is that one striker that even other defenders would rather not face. Not like they'll be trembling in their boots, but they'd rather not face him. And Chris Smalling survived that challenge. So he's thinking, okay, you know what? You have survived World Cup winner. Come, Messi. At least you only played in the final of World Cup. You didn't win it. I've even beaten the person that won World Cup. So come, I can deal with you. And that's whether you may think it's cocky, you may think it's arrogant, you may think it's even delusional. Considering the fact that
it's delusional. I was
considering the fact that it's Chris Smalling, the clumsy defender. But what it is that's the kind of mentality you have to have, especially when you're playing at home.
Yes.
You have to go into the match with some kind of level of confidence. Because if
Yes.
you're going with a defeatist mentality, you've already lost before the
beginning of the end.
Yeah, you've already lost before the game starts. So he's going to have to give himself some kind of confidence, build some kind of belief, and then get into the match believing that he's Maldini. And maybe just during the game he may become Maldini. But it's going to be a tricky challenge for Manchester, because you're looking at the Barcelona side. If you watch him against Atletico Madrid, they will run you ragged for 94 minutes. And sometimes the game is lost in that last 2 minutes of the match, like what happened against Atletico Madrid. And Barcelona is that team that they can continue running for days. So it's not just Lionel Messi you're talking about. He's the guy. If you want to stop him from being active in the 18-yard box, he will drop deep into the pitch and then make those deadly crosses. So he's not the guy that you can look for. There's no one size fits all answer for Lionel Messi. Chris Smalling also has to worry about Luis Suarez, who can make defenders give away penalties and collect red card. You have to worry about Ousmane Dembele because he's available. We don't know if he's going to be picked. There's still Malcolm to worry about. And even if Coutinho is shaky, he's still an opponent with skills and some tricks in the bag. So there's a lot more for Manchester United to worry about. On the other end, I must say, Barcelona doesn't have the most solid defense any team can find in Europe. And so if you ask me, Manchester United too have a chance of taking advantage of Barcelona's shaky defense. I know today may be Longley and Gerard Piqué, so some leadership in that backline, but there's still an opportunity in Lukaku to bully somebody and get a chance. So Barcelona has a shaky defense. Manchester United can take advantage of that. But Chris Smalling, I like the mindset he's going.
I love
with.
it. I think even
Whether it fails today or not, let him just go with it.
All right, message from Easy on WhatsApp. Easy says, "OMG, Tega, you're just too much. I usually just sit back and enjoy your analysis, but I had to salute you for this one. Quote of the day: Magic Johnson and Dirk are not even in the same WhatsApp group. No worries. They should just go and find out who Magic is on and off the court. He's beyond legendary now, and always keep up the fab work, guys. Thank you very much, Easy.
Thank you, Easy.
And Lukman
says, "Good morning. Not a good one for Magic Johnson and Lakers, and a very good for Tottenham yesterday against Man City. 75% they have done, 75% of the job they've done. Spurs to qualify, and City can go on to win their stupid quadruple. Wow. Wishing Manchester United good luck tonight against Barcelona. Tonight is going to be serious."
All right, Lagos, let's take a break. We'll be back for the final leg for Locker Room 981 as a part of Smooth Breakfast with Ayo
and Valentine.
This is Johnny Joe, and you're listening.
We can't take any more story. You know why?
What?
Them that won't take comment too, because they have 3 minutes of.
I have a lot of messages though.
Yeah, we have a lot and 3 minutes of
We should
advert.
come back and take messages.
Okay, we have to. No, we must come back and take a story, which is sometimes you need to wrap me up.
Okay.
Because
No,
I
I don't. I would have wrapped you up at that Magic Johnson story then, because we
that's
spent considerable time on that. I didn't know. Next
sometimes
time
you
I'll
need
do
to
that.
match me up. Because Ronaldo is back today for
Okay,
Juventus
for Ajax, yeah.
for Ajax.
Okay, so do you want to just do like a quick run through of all this without us having to ask you specific, or we should just ask you about Ajax and
Yes, just
Ronaldo?
no. I'll just say no worry. Just read your news.
Okay.
Sorry, people. So we cannot take the Ronaldo news because
You
they
have
say
to
it will
touch
start.
now. You just say he's
I'm
starting.
telling to these people.
Okay,
If you want to know the news, you watch it on YouTube.
Okay, good one.
So
there.
YouTube people must have inside information.
Yes.
So there's a Ronaldo story here. But because of time, as you have heard, we cannot take it.
Sorry,
There is
guys.
also a Liverpool story here about the match yesterday. But there's of no consequence because I've already mentioned the Liverpool result here.
Yeah, you have mentioned
And
that.
there's also a Mauricio story here for Eden Hazard because he scored 2 goals against West Ham on Monday. Like even I cannot score 2 goals against West Ham on Monday. So, dear people, this is not
we
my
have
fault.
14 messages and we have messages on Twitter.
We read all the messages
on Twitter,
and we forget
Twitter.
the story. So you two people, you have the benefit of the inside information.
Oh, aren't you guys just so fortunate? How many people are watching on YouTube now, Val?
Okay.
1,000.
Yeah.
New York declares public healthcare
What?
emergency because they have measles. I love these people.
Beautiful.
Measles isn't just a rash. Get your
MMR
MMR today. Hey, I love this. They're even advertising the disease. They are father.
But it's serious now.
It is. I love the way
I
that
love
we
them,
follow.
Gary.
Since that's what we're talking about, sensitization. Awareness. What?
Is it?
Right.
Why would they allow us to suffer like
Yeah,
that?
it's one of these things.
Yeah,
you
like
understand?
why would the Nigerian government allow us to suffer like
I
that
don't
to
understand.
get PVC?
It's just one of those things. We keep talking about it.
Yeah, let's not talk about it now. So that we can vent well. You understand? Pack it. Come back with the messages. You can even announce that we have other stories like Ronaldo.
Sorry?
Okay, we can even announce that we have other stories like Ronaldo
Yes,
back
yes,
for
yes,
Ajax
yes, yes,
and
yes, yes.
and Mauricio
Yeah.
on Eden Hazard. But let's take your comments because
Yeah.
they're important.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
don't shut the door yet, too.
No, please,
No,
let him
no.
do it. Let
Okay.
him-
Wow, I'm choking. I was like, oh! So
And then take all the comments. That way we are
Okay.
good.
Sure.
that's to rush to the comment itself because we have less than 2 minutes for the
You
comment.
give me 1 more minute. Just the headlines. Mourinho back for Ronaldo back for Ajax and Mauricio on Eden Hazard, but we'll be taking your comments. Mike's up.
Yep. Mike's up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mike's up. It's your love music, love life station here, and it is also your love football and sports world here in the locker room.
That's right.
As Tega is taking us through some amazing stories, but before we have to take your comments, unfortunately, time is fast spent.
Yeah, so we're not able to take the stories on Ronaldo again back in Ajax and of course Mauricio Sarri, given his respect for Eden Hazard. But let's take your messages. They're more important to us right now.
Yes.
We have this one from Big A from K2. He says, when you're all dancing, Man City beats Shako 7-0. Now you see it in HD. They could not even concede a goal, even with a penalty. However, that goal shouldn't be awarded to Tottenham. VAR should have cancelled Son's goal, and Barca will beat Man U home and away.
There was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with Son's goal. There was nothing.
All right.
But I think the penalty should have been retaken because somebody encroached when it was about to be taken. So yes.
MI from Makoka says, bring what on? Wolves brought it on. You couldn't collect now. You're daring an alien. I get he's trying to play psychological warfare, but you should know this is not PS4. This is real life. UEFA Champions League. Anyi Gafu.
It's
I don't know.
Gafu.
What does that
We
mean?
will see.
Okay. Anyi
Yes. Emmanuel from Ikeja says history has it that Man City has always lost at the quarterfinal of the Champions League to English teams. Are they going to break the jinx now?
Yes.
We're done.
All right, we are done, unfortunately, but thank you so much for your comments on WhatsApp, on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Sorry, Tega, we're done.
Yes.
You put in that 1 minute.
Sorry.
All right, Lagos.
If you're on YouTube, you just saw what
You
instead of
just-
flicking the fingers at us. But anyway, let's have this conversation on it's Twitter. Just follow her, Baraja, with your questions.
Yeah.
On Twitter at Tega Supreme or at LIS International.
International. And what the YouTube, she has some background information for you right there. So please go on there.